The clergy sex abuse crisis is a presence at the World Meeting of Families. Archbishop Martin made that plain a few moments ago. Brooklyn's Father John Gribowich is very passionate about the church and his vocation, and he joins us now. Father John, thank you so much for being with us again.
Liz.
As you know, there is so much going on with these abuse scandals. News seems to be breaking nearly every single day. We have the grand jury report, we have the McCarrick case, we have the Pope's letter, and we have this upcoming meeting with survivors in Ireland. You wear a collar. What is going through your mind personally?
Well, I think you could speak to my family and my friends, and they would know exactly what's going on through my mind. This week has been very difficult, and I have to just say I'm absolutely livid. That's all I can really say right now, because this really hurts deep on many different levels.
You are livid. You are angry at who? At what?
Well, you know, it's so easy to think that, okay, I'm just frustrated with the institutional church, with everything that the church has been doing from the top down, right? And then I have to step back for a second and realize that, you know, I'm actually a part of the institutional church. I'm a priest. I make up part of the hierarchy, right? And that's a very humbling thing to accept, because in a certain way, I'm almost guilty by association. Mm-hmm. And that's something I need to accept, because as a priest, we all share, priests share in the one priesthood of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And as much as I may be happy with the successes of another priest, because they're my successes, the failures of another priest, in a certain sense, are really my failures as well. That's how I'm looked upon. I'm in with everyone at this point.
You're talking about the failures now, so let's now talk about another word that's being used, accountability. It's being used a lot. We're all in agreement something needs to be done, but how do we make accountability an action word? What needs to be done? That's the big question.
Right, and I think that what this grand jury in Pennsylvania revealed is that as much progress has been done since the Dallas Charter in 2002, the one thing that has not been done is accountability on the part of bishops and their advisors who played a role in the cover-up. Nothing has been done there. And I think that's really the role of the laity, to tell you the truth, because I don't think there would be an internal mechanism within the church that's going to be able to provide accurate accountability to bishops and their advisors at this point. So what I suggest actually is that, you know, there's a time right now where a lot of lay Catholics are talking to their priests who they know to be good men, mm-hmm. and encouraging them and saying that, you know, you're one of the good priests and we need you. I don't think that's really what priests need to hear right now. They don't need to hear about how good they are. Mm-hmm. And I mean that not because I want to say that we're all guilty in a certain sense, but because we need to be prophetic voices right now. Mm-hmm. Priests need to be prophets.
I want to get to this, Father John, because a priest friend of yours, Father Chris Walsh, who's in Pennsylvania, he's also speaking out from the pulpit, so I want to listen to what he has to say, and then we'll address that.
Sure,
after
definitely.
As I read the report and I sat this week, I wasn't sure that I wanted to remain a part of this church. I thought, why bother? And then I prayed. And then I came to Jesus, who is the bread of life, who always renews us. And I thought, I'm not going to let them win.
Why bother? I'm not going to let them win. You sit with your brother priest, Father John. Is this the conversation that's going on?
Right. I just came back from talking with Chris, and this is the conversation that is going on. And I think that we are all looking for prophetic voices right now to re-examine everything that we do as an institutional church, from how we spend our money, from what our priorities are. Everything needs to be examined, and also how we train our priests, and also how priests themselves can be more accountable to the laity.
Mm-hmm. Priests can be accountable. We can be accountable. You're part of the DeSales Media Group. You watch all the time. Rate the media's handling of the scandals. Be honest.
Well, it's easy to kind of say that, well, once again, the church is being focused on for something that's a wider problem, and that is true. But I think as a church, we need to be the standard bearer for how to do things right. So if we are the ones that are being focused on how we're doing things wrong, it should only encourage us to get to the root of what is wrong and to do things better, mm-hmm. and be more faithful to Jesus Christ, because that's where the crisis is. We've not been faithful.
You say we need change. You say we need radical change.
Yes.
What is that change, and what do you say to lay people about it?
Well, what I would say to them is you have to think about why you're Catholic, and it comes down to the Eucharist. The Eucharist either means everything to you or nothing. And so the one way that we receive the Eucharist is through the hands of the priest. Mm. So we have to be faithful to Jesus in the Eucharist. And that's the way we're going to be able to make sense of what has to be done on an institutional level. So this is not the time to give up, but it's a time to rally more closely around Jesus, especially in the Eucharist.
All right, Father John, I appreciate your candor very much. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Liz.
me. We have a lot more to talk about. I'm sure you'll be back.
Okay.
All right.